Brendan, now second question is more focused on a specific issue, how we can help people and how we are helping people. Is it important, based on your experience and what's your opinion on that, is it important to know exactly what you want to do? Do you think they should know, or is it important to find what they really want to do, or just apply for any job? And how does it impact confidence, in your opinion?
It's the first part of the process, Kristof, is some people will know what you want to do. Some people want to do too much, and that's a barrier that presents limitations and obstacles. And other people are not quite sure what you want to do, and or there may be a complete transition in career, or maybe for example, the banking sector is a good example, because there's literally thousands coming in the job market in the next couple of years because of the way the banks have changed, and a lot of them are going to have to move into something different, and that's a challenge. So they may know I would like to be in financial services, but there may not be a banking role like there was previously, or there'll be a lot of competition for those banking roles. So, but in terms of anything they do, certainly, if you could, it's very important that you decide as early as you can, and you will most likely need support on this. It's very hard to do all this on your own, but you've got to decide on, okay, what are my skills? What are my strengths? What are my core values? What value can I bring? Remember, this thing is, somebody has a problem and you're trying to be the solution. Keep that in mind. So if I want to get to that position, or have an aspiration to do this, what skills do I need? What answers will I have to give to be able to get into that position? And what upskilling do I need as well, and retraining and so on? Who do I need to talk to? Networking, a huge part of all this. Who should I talk to that will give me some really good advice? You can spend hours and days and weeks Googling for information. If you can have a 15-minute cup of coffee with a person at the coalface, it's invaluable, the amount of information you will get straight in the horse's mouth, basically, and you'll build up a rapport as well. And I would encourage people to continuously seek out people that can actually help them and give them advice. It's a two-way process. You've got to be equally generous with your time and ask, what can I do for the other person? And it's a powerful mix when that collaboration takes place. So you do have to, if you haven't decided what you want to do, and you start to lose direction and vision of where you're going, and that will erode confidence. And it doesn't take long to erode confidence. I've worked with lots of people through job care, as you know, and a lot of seasoned professionals, highly qualified people, very experienced people, and not working for a while and not being able to find another job, their confidence gets eroded very, very quickly, because they stop doing the things they've always done. They don't have the opportunity to do things they've always done in some regards either, and they stop mixing with the same people. The structure falls out of their lives, and they need some intervention. It's possible to do it on your own, but it's very hard to do it on your own. You really need somebody else that can support you, and you can support them as well. And then you've got to decide then, through that process, okay, what do I really want to do? And then once you know, I always say, start with the end in mind. Okay, and we touched on this in the previous conversation. If there was no limitations, and in the ideal situation, and you couldn't fail, but you want to be realistic as well, what would you really want to be doing? And then with the end in mind, then, okay, what do we need to do to get there? And there will be obstacles, but what do we need? How do we overcome some of those obstacles? And there'll be different solutions for those different obstacles, but you're working towards an objective in the end. If you have your head down and you're bopping all over the place, you don't know where you're going, you can get very disorientated and lose direction very, very quickly. But if you know where you want to go, it may take a while to get there, but you're making progress all the time, and you're keeping your confidence. Absolutely. And somebody made a great quote in one of the job net programs a number of years ago: action beats fear. If you're inactive, the fear kicks in, and it can be debilitating, to be honest. But if you're keeping active, and even if it's only small steps, you're making progress towards your ultimate goal. You've got the momentum, you've got your confidence, and that direction is brilliant, and it'll support you the rest of the way, because you have a vision, and that's really, really important. But the first part of that is to where do I want to go? And I say it has to be realistic. Don't say I want to go to the moon, whatever. It's got to be realistic. But that not to dampen anybody's aspirations or dreams. Just be a bit realistic. What's possible, and then work out what you have to do to get there and who you need to talk to. And the key part is, people talk about doing exams and upskilling and so on. That's important. But the most important thing to do is to talk to people that know what you need to do. You build up rapport, you hear about opportunities, and you feel like you're accompanied along the journey. And this is a journey. That's why we term the new business restart journey, because you're on a journey, and you'll have a few restarts to your journey through your whole life. And it's that journey done alone, it can be very lonely. But if you're involved with the people in the process, you're never alone, to be honest.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. You inspired me to actually and remind me a few things from my experience. When you say about a purpose, we already mentioned that before our conversation. And when I was going through first time myself, finding my why, my purpose, and I mentioned to you, I used Simon Sinek method, which is of course not so easy. There you can find a TED talk that say in 5 minutes find your purpose, and they say who you are, what you do, and then the other three, who you do it for, what they need or want, and what change you make. By answering those questions, you create a baseline. But Simon Sinek beautifully, with two other authors in his book, create a system that mentioned the same as you. You need a second partner to help you in this discovery process to make it right. So you need a coach, mentor, or someone who will who's really open to do that, because it will take a little bit of time. And that's why you see how vital is the role or assistance from the person who knows this process, who can help you to identify. Because, as you said, if you have this purpose, you stop drifting. And I've noticed when people come to me, oh, I want this job, but let's find it out. As you said, what are your values, what you believe? Because you want to have this motivation not for 1 or 2 months. You want to have for a lifetime, or at least very long time. So you need to find your deepest why. Amazing. And as you said, this reverse engineering process, you have the goal and you work the step back is a great way of finding, or okay, because very often people, when they come to me, will say, I would like to be I don't know, CEO of the tech company. And okay, great, let's check what CEO of the tech company is. Let's check a few profiles, let's move this few steps back, and then you will know the first step. You won't see that as impossible. You'll see that this is possible, and your first step, as you said, action, small steps, and you get there. That's the thing people don't understand sometimes, that those small steps are the fastest way to get there, because you create this plan. And then when you said networking in support that, talk to that CEO, talk to 10 of them. Few of them will reply, as you said. Now we can have virtual coffee, and they'll give you an advice. And I have a great example that one of my clients sent a message to 3 professionals and directors who were discussing certain subject in the big company. And one of them, the major actually of them, replied, giving advices how to get the job there. So it's so important and vital that you make that action and step. And the last thing is what you said, the confidence comes with it. If you know exactly, if you imagine yourself, you're in a position and you know exactly what you want, you're much stronger. The fiber of your being saying, yes, this is something I want.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I've seen this firsthand so many times. It's so important. And I've spoken to lots of people, and I changed their mindset very quickly, because a lot of people are reluctant to ask for advice or ask for help. They see it as a sign of weakness, or they think the other person won't help them. My experience, and I got this experience very early on, 95, probably 99% of people are happy to help if they can. it's important you don't intrude on somebody's privacy. You don't ask for a meeting in the boardroom on a Friday afternoon with a senior person, but you ask for a cup of coffee, and everyone will give you 15 minutes over a cup of coffee, because we all have a cup of coffee. And usually what actually happens, that cup of coffee can go on a half an hour, because there's two people engaging, they're building up a rapport. And if you're listening, by the way, even to what the person is telling you about the challenges that they have, the issues that they have in their, say, sector, listen carefully, because they are giving you opportunities even to collaborate with them if you have those skills. And I got so much work when I started off as a consultant by asking for advice and asking, can somebody give you some help over a cup of coffee? And first of all, they give you some really invaluable advice. Then they start talking about the problems that exist in their industry and their companies. And I'd say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? What about this? Well, to be honest, Brendan, we haven't really got the resources to do it at the moment, and I haven't got time to be watching all that. I wouldn't even know where to start. And I'd say something like, would you want me to have a look at your processes? Won't charge you anything, won't cost you anything. I'll have a look at your process, I'll see what I think, and I'll come back and I'll give you some recommendations. You can completely ignore the recommendations. You can get somebody else to implement the recommendations, or I'll do it for you. But there's no obligation whatsoever. And then I would go in, I'd give them recommendations, and they would take me in to do a few things, because I've gone to the bottom of offering my service. And once you get the foot in the door and you build a rapport, then it's amazing how many new opportunities come from that. Because they start asking, Brendan, have you any experience in this, by the way? Yes, I have. Could you do this for us as well? Or I might say, have you thought about somebody doing an audit on your supply chain operations, or say your distribution processes, or your marketing process? No, how would that work? Well, this is how it would work. Would you be able to do that? Yes. And that's, you build just that simple cup of coffee. You can open up, so many different possibilities. And so I would really encourage people to talk to people. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned earlier on, networking is a two-way process. It's building relationships. Some people are phased by it, but we all network. It's building relationships. We do it naturally, to be honest, but we don't know it's networking. But the key thing to remember, it's a two-way process. It's equally about what you can do for the other person. It's about being interested in the other person, asking questions and listening, and offering support where you can. And if you do that on a regular basis, you don't have any problem even asking anybody else for advice or support, because you do it yourself. It becomes second nature. It's only if you don't do that, it's difficult to ask somebody else for help. So you got to practice what you preach. And I've made some fantastic friends over the years, and great connections, and who I still keep. And even yourself, the same situation. That's how you meet people. That's how you open some doors. And you find after a while, the whole web comes in together and connects people. Suddenly, everybody knows everybody. But it takes a while to get in, and everyone's connecting all over the place now. It's brilliant. That's how you'll get the information, and you'll get the support, and you'll hear of opportunities. There's some frightening figures out there, and you may have heard some of these. 70 to 80% of jobs do not get advertised.
Yeah.
Just think about that. So if you're looking for a job, or you're unemployed, and you are just focused on applying for jobs that appear on the jobs boards, you're not going to see even the 20% that are advertised, because you won't see every job that's advertised. So you're missing out on all these 70 to 80%. As well as that, some jobs that are advertised don't even exist. And certainly during the pandemic and lockdown, there were recruiters who were really struggling because nobody was hiring, but they were advertising jobs to give the impression that they're still busy. So you could be applying for jobs that didn't exist, but you wouldn't know the job didn't exist, which was another difficulty. So one of the things we do as well, we actually encourage our clients to be really proactive and innovative in their job seeking approaches. So we get them to networking is a big part of it. We get them to apply for jobs that haven't even been advertised. So that means researching companies. It means understanding the companies that they really want to work for. And usually these would be companies with a track record. And we would use a lot of research to find out companies that will likely hire at a particular stage. So it happens in advance of the job being advertised. You basically build up a bio, you cover letter, you approach someone in the company by name, and you offer your services and looking for an opportunity to provide a service for them. So it comes back to a little bit of the entrepreneurial stuff, almost a business mindset. Someone has a problem or will have a problem, don't even realize they have a problem yet, but I can offer these services. If you're looking for someone that can work in the manufacturing area or the IT sector or the financial services, this is what I offer, this is what I bring, this is my experience. And you research the company so you can show an understanding of the company that you've always been looking for an opportunity for, and you basically promote yourself for a position that hasn't even been advertised. So if you do this properly, and we've had great success with this, you may very well be the perfect answer to someone's problem that they didn't even realize, what you were looking for at that stage. It was like that person could be the very person that could do this, and maybe they can do that also. Let's take them in on a temporary basis. Temporary basis, lots of times leads to a permanent solution, and that could be the way in the door. Lots of innovative ways of actually making progress. There's always people in the process, and remember, there's always people.
Well, what did you think about this video? Feel free to join our LinkedIn group and comment below the video. Hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you.